patients to avoid the danger. Dr. Frankel, welcome to Cannabis Healing.
Thanks so much.
And how are you today?
For the show. I'm great.
Thank you.
Here in Santa Monica.
Oh, well, good. And I'm in Florida, so we both got good weather.
Good sunshine, yeah.
Yes. Now, let's get serious. What are the conditions that would benefit from using medicinal cannabis for people in hospice care?
Okay, well, let's just spend 1 second differentiating what I think medical versus recreational is. Because I don't think those are the best terms that we can use.
Okay.
And I'll be the one changing. But to me, medical means that a professional that knows something about dosing and the patient both know what product they're taking, how many milligrams they're taking, so that there can be a follow-up call, a follow-up message, and make adjustments. Recreational people generally don't know exactly what they're taking, but they're comfortable with cannabis, they're comfortable with THC, and they're doing more of a casual approach, while the medical is more what I would call focused. So I often use those terms. As far as what types of issues with regards to end of life that cannabis can help is, first of all, pretty much any condition that any of us can have. One of the biggest issues at end of life, the two biggest issues are probably pain and mood disorders, primarily anxiety. And anxiety around the end of life is a big issue, and cannabis is not going to be the last plant medicine, by the way. Mushrooms, psilocybin, were just approved in Oregon, and it's going to get approved in the West.
So that means we're the society is based on the scientific platform as described by His Divine Grace by Srila Prabhupada. On the back of the Bhagavad Gita, it's described that the science of self-realization is understood through the teachings of this transcendental literature. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken some 5,000 years ago on a battlefield known as Kurukshetra. You can still go there. The place still exists. And you actually, when you go there, you'll find some nice displays of Krishna and Arjuna on a chariot. And Arjuna became a little bewildered. He was a devotee of Krishna. He was actually a very, very dear friend, close friend, actually relative, and you can say cousin. And due to circumstances, there was a great, known as fratricidal war between the family. And Arjuna was on the side of virtue and righteousness and goodness. And the opposing party had, evil is a heavy word, right? Evil is a heavy word, huh? Evil intentions. They wanted, the kingdom actually was, belonged to Arjuna and his brothers, but it was being taken away by his cousins. So a battle ensued. Everything was tried to negotiate before, but the outcome was there had to be a battle. One can understand nowadays there are so many battles being fought, and we understand them to be very unfortunate. But sometimes fire is necessary. When everything else is unsuccessful, sometimes this is necessary. So the battle is about to begin, and by arrangement, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when we say Krishna, we should understand that we're speaking of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord has many names. We don't want to just restrict him to the name Krishna. Krishna just means all attractive. That's all it means, all attractive. So that's kind of like sum total of God, the most attractive person in the world, or the creation, the most attractive person. So Krishna took the position of the chariot driver of Arjuna. Everybody know this? If you don't know this, raise your hand. Have anybody not ever heard this? Okay, thank you for yeah. That's why I'm doing, because I think I felt that connection. So to see what we're doing here, there's as Shakespeare said, there's a method to the madness. Okay, I think it was Shakespeare, right? Am I not right? So the battle is about to begin, and so the Supreme Lord, out of his causeless Atmamaya, means causeless mercy. He descends out of his causeless mercy. Ajopisam ranayatma bhutanam isropisam prakatim samadishtaya samabhami Atmamaya. This is the Sanskrit language which the Bhagavad Gita is spoken in. And it describes that although the Lord is unborn, he's ever existing, there's no birth of the Supreme Lord, nor is there birth of our eternal soul. This body appears to take birth. It grows, remains for some time, produces byproducts, dwindles. You can see I'm hunched over. I'm 66 now. I used to be kind of stout and straight up in the chair. Dwindles, and then the body goes. The body has to vanish. So Arjuna, on this battlefield, Krishna volunteered, because of his affection for Arjuna, to be the driver of the chariot. So that means he was second in command, although he was the Supreme Lord. Kind of a unique position. But when Arjuna requested Krishna, it ends at 6:30, right? Who is in charge here? Who knows? Anybody know what time the class ends? 6:30, okay. Even though Arjuna, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, still he volunteered to be the driver for his friend. And his friend asked, please take me into the middle of this battlefield so I can see who wants to fight. And he took him right in the front of his guru, his teacher, and right in the front of his grandfather. And he said, this is whom you have to fight. So dilemma, huh? Dilemma, big time. Anybody here want to kill their teacher? Anybody here want to kill your grandfather? Hopefully nobody raised their hand. I guess I shouldn't ask those. I may get in trouble. I usually do. What can you do, right? So anyway, out of all the places Krishna could take him, Krishna takes him right in front of his family and said, here's whom you must contend this great battle. But when Arjuna asked him, he said, oh, Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible. The Supreme Lord himself is infallible. Under any and every circumstance, the Lord has no fallibility. Even if he takes the secondary position, he's still in the supreme position. He chooses to be there. Supreme Lord chooses to be there. And so Arjuna asked him, as a friend, please take me. So he showed him. And then Arjuna went through, I guess you can say, existential crisis. Questioning why am I here? Why am I doing this battle? I think it would be better if I quit. Now if Arjuna quit, he was the #1 warrior. He was the best warrior in the world. Very, very powerful. And if he stepped aside from the battle, it wouldn't happen. And Krishna told him, Arjuna told Krishna, what fortune will come to me if I do this? And if I fight a battle and people are killed, so much sin will be on my heart, and in the hearts of all those people that are in this battle will be sunken and destined in our heart. It's the duty of the elders to perform all the rituals, not just rituals, but the spiritual activities which are meant to liberate their family members from the material energy, to liberate us, to save us from this material world. And when the elders and all those who are administrators are killed in battle, then who will perform all these activities? Arjuna's mind is racing. It's racing, trying to find solution. But the problem's not material. The problem is spiritual. It's a spiritual problem. No material acquisition, no material adjustment, no material condition will save us from suffering in this world. Will save us from anything. Because it's a spiritual problem. It's a lack of spiritual consciousness. And so Krishna tells him that. And he tells him, Arjuna, although you're talking as though you have some knowledge, because to want to have good fortune, to want to perform religious activities properly, to want to not commit sins, which he thought were sins, which actually weren't sins in that sense. He thought that was good. But Krishna told him, you're talking like one who knows knowledge, but in actuality you don't know what is what. Asochan andvasochas tam pagnam bedam shabhasase. You're speaking like a learned person, but you don't know. Because never, Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all the warriors assembled here. We existed now, we existed in the past, and we're going to exist in the future. There's not a time we're not going to exist. Never is there a time we will not exist. And he gives proof. Dihinosmin yata dehe komadam yovanam jara. Today we had a little youth program for, I don't know where Sundari God is at. Teenage youth program, open house. Open question with the Swami, right? I'm a monk, so they were allowed to ask questions aloud. That doesn't even sound right. We had the opportunity to engage with them. And so one of the children quoted that Bhagavad Gita verse, Dehino sminyata dehe. Dehino, that spirit soul residing within the deha, within the body. That individual soul residing within this body undergoes transformations, komadam yovanam jada, from childhood to youth to old age. Yet the soul remains the same. We're the conscious observer. We observe the body undergoing different transformations from childhood to youth to old age. But yet we remain the same person. I remember. I don't see too many small children in here. I guess they must have Sunday school, keep them under control, right? Good idea. But I remember, my earliest memory is about 3 years old. I remember being a teenager. I remember being in my 20s. I remember being in my 30s, 40s, 50s. Now I'm in my going on late 60s. I remember all those things. But the body is completely different. Maybe I should get a picture of myself when I was like 5 years old and hold it up and see if you could recognize who this person is, right? I don't have any, unfortunately. So that body that I was inhabiting as a spirit soul 60 years ago is no longer here. The body changes biologically. Every 7 years you get another body. Anatomically the body changes. But we remain the same person. We call it growth, but it's change. We're changing from one body to another. Right before our eyes we're changing. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that for one who is a little sober, Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara. Tata dihantara diras tata namoyati. Dira means sober-minded. Those who take moment to seek clarity. I learned that from a very nice Christian preacher out in the West Coast. I watch these Christian preachers because they know how to engage the audience a little bit. They know how to get people to listen. And he says, I pray to the Lord for a moment of clarity. This week I was praying for a moment of clarity. Moment of clarity means that everything else which is on the material level stops, and I just contemplate my spiritual existence. Who am I? Who am I? This is a very important question when you really get down to it, because if we do not know who we are, then how do we know what we're doing is correct? If we misidentify ourselves as something that we're not, then how do we know those actions that we're performing are in conjunction with that which we actually are? There's no guarantee for that. First, we must understand Atato Brahma Jignasa, that I am by nature spirit soul. Now we have to do a little bit of, what do you call, I'm rolling up my sleeves, I guess I'm getting ready to go to work, right? We have to do a little bit of reverse engineering to figure this all out. When we take a look at ourselves, we understand ourselves to be conscious. We're conscious of this body. I'm partially conscious of the other bodies. I'm not fully conscious. I have a little tiny smidgen, where'd that word come from? Smidgen? A little tiny portion of understanding. Just like if somebody sneezes, I can understand they have a cold. If somebody's, my age, I can understand they have the same symptoms as me. We have a little understanding. Associative principle. We can project. I experience this person is experiencing that also. Kind of an assumption, but what would you say, rational assumption. And so, if we take a moment to contemplate just, who am I? We can understand I'm the conscious observer inside this body, and I'm observing this body undergoing different changes. So if I'm that consciousness, what is the nature of that consciousness? What is the nature? What is the actual composition? So if we examine ourselves, if we are conscious, then that which we come from must also be conscious. Right? It has to be logically that way. And everyone considers himself to be a person. Now you may like me as a person, you may dislike me as a person, you may be neutral. There's a, A to Z. Or when I'm traveling in Europe and India and Asia, A to Z. They say A to Z. Any one of those, you can have I have a personality. So that which I come from must also have personality. I have desire. That which I come from must also have desire. So what is that supreme? See, whatever in the energy must be contained in the energetic source. If there's heat and light and sunshine, then to say the sun is dark and cold makes no sense. Right? To say that if the sunshine has heat and light, that which it comes from must also have heat and light. Sunshine, the sun planet, must also have heat and light. So if I have consciousness, that which I come from must also be conscious. If I have personality, that which I come from must also have personality. If I have desire, that which I come from must also have desire. So now how do I connect myself again to that supreme entity? If I am not this material body, I am something separate and distinct from this material body, then what is the activity of that soul? When we get into the third chapter of this Bhagavad Gita, because the first chapter is just telling us what's going on the battlefield. Second chapter is a summary of the whole thing. And Krishna tells Arjuna so many different things. He tells him the nature of the soul. What is the nature of the soul? The nature is najayate mirate vakadachin nayam bhuta bhavinabha. It's unborn, it's eternal, ever existing, undying, primeval. Then nahanyate hanyamane sarire. That when the sarira, when the body comes to the point where it can no longer sustain the soul anymore, then the soul leaves that body. It doesn't die, the soul doesn't die, it just leaves that body and is transferred into another body. To think that we don't exist after the end of this existence isn't a very palatable idea. And not a very rational one when you get down to it, or a very thoughtful one. Because just like in the Gita, we were going through, we're changing bodies. Komaram, Yovanam, Jada, from childhood to youth to old age, we've already reincarnated so many times. We've already experienced reincarnation. I'm 66, so somebody divide 66 by 7. 9, right? 9 plus 3. So I'm 9 and 1, what would it be? 9 and almost a half. 9 and a half bodies old. Right? 9 and a half bodies old. I've already reincarnated 9 times. I'm on my 10th one. Here we go, right? Number 10. Right? So I've already reincarnated already. So the dhira, the intelligent, the sober person will consider this. That why would I, if I continue to exist through different phases of life in this material energy, why would I stop existing at the end of this particular physical form? And so again, we go back to the point that I find I'm a person. Everyone will say that. So if I'm a person and that which I come from is a person, we must have a personal relationship. And if I'm active in this form, in this body, then by nature my soul is active. And that's what I was going to get to, because in the third chapter, Arjuna is a little bewildered because he cannot understand how knowledge of the spirit soul can be engaged and action can be purified. He can't understand that. So Krishna tells him that it's not a matter of renunciation, it's not a matter of this or that. By nature, the soul is active. It's not that because we have a body we're active, it's the nature of the soul to be always active. That's the nature of the soul. It's the soul that gives this body life. It's just like this. Everybody, the cell phone, right? You take the battery out, what is it? It's everybody, or if the battery runs out, you'll say your phone is? Yeah, okay, now you learned that from my Christian preacher friends. You used to ask the congregation a question, they'll give you an answer. That way you know if they're alive or dead, right? Okay. So it's the battery inside the phone that makes the phone active. In the same way, it's the soul inside this body that makes this body active. The nature of the soul is active. So what is the action that soul is supposed to engage in? It's actions which are in connection with the Supreme Lord. And that's the meaning of yoga. Yoga means to connect, to yuj, to yoke. It means to bring together. Bring together two things, right? So our actions are meant to be linked or combined with our devotional nature, our spiritual nature. And that is called karma yoga. Karma is a word that we use in this secular world now. You know, if you say karma, people think, oh, that's something bad happened to that person. Right? Oh man, bad karma, right? One day I forgot to pay the phone bill. I was managing a temple, and I found the phone bill I was going to mail under the phone book. And it was the past due date that day. And I had like 30 minutes to get to the phone office before I have a, what do you call it, surcharge? What do they call it? Late fee? So I went running to pay the bill, came outside, a huge thunderstorm, Gainesville, Florida, huge thunderstorm. I'm underneath an overhang with about 10 people waiting for the thunderstorm to end. And this lightning bolt comes down, and it hits one of these water oak trees. In Florida, they have different types of oak. Water oaks, they hollow out in the inside. And it hit the base of the tree, it knocked the tree over, and it landed on this guy's car that was driving through, and it smashed the guy in the car. So we all went running over, and there was this hippie guy, and he goes, wow, man, bad karma. I'm over there, Hare Krishna, right? Chanting the names of God. So we use this word karma loosely in a negative sense, but the word karma comes from the root Sanskrit word kriyate. Kriyate means to do or to act. So our actions can be binding us into the material energy, sinful activities. Those activities which bind us in the material world, in material bodies, which force us to undergo repeated birth, death, old age, and disease, the four aspects of life, or those activities which can liberate us, that are in connection, in yoga with the Supreme. So that's called karma yoga. That's the beginning where we take our nature, because each and every one of us has a particular nature. Nature means goodness, passion, and ignorance. That's what the material energy is made out of. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Or you can say ignorance, passion, and goodness, going up or going down, however you want to do it, right? And so the body is composed of that. So we each have a combination of those three natures. And according to that combination, we have a particular type of activity that we are kind of destined to perform. We are laborer type or assistant type, or we're business type, or we're administrative type, or we're teaching type. There's different types of natures. And we take that nature and we utilize it in the service of the Lord. That is called karma yoga. And that karma yoga, once we link it up to the service of the Lord, then it eventually merges into Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means the devotional linking, the loving exchange that the individual soul has with the Supreme Soul. And that's what Krishna consciousness movement teaches and what would you say, performs. We perform this Bhakti Yoga. That whatever we do, of course this verse is actually karma yoga, yat karoshi jadasnoshi jadasasi dadatiya. That whatever we do, whatever we give away, whatever austerities we perform, whatever we eat, whatever we do that as an act of love for God. Any action that we do can be done can be dovetailed. Dovetailed. It's like taking wood together and dovetail, or taking something together and linking it together. Can be dovetailed in the service of the Lord. And that same activity, if done for material pleasure or just personal sense gratification, binds us in this material world. And that same activity, if it's done as an act of love for the Supreme Lord, can liberate us from this material world. I got to keep looking at my watch, sorry. So the example is given. Well, there's a crude one. I won't use that one. There's a simple one. You're walking barefoot, and you get a thorn in your foot. You know this analogy? Everybody knows this analogy, right? You're walking, you get a thorn in your foot. How many of you have a tweezers in your pocket? Nobody has. Maybe one or two. I have one in my suitcase upstairs in case you need one. So what you do if you get a thorn in your foot is you find a thorn tree and you pick a thorn off that tree, right? And then you take the thorn from the tree and you pick the thorn out of your foot. One thorn is causing you pain and one thorn is removing the pain. The thorn is neutral. It's whether it's stabbing you in the foot, causing you pain, or in your hand, and you're able to pluck out the other one and giving you relief from pain. So the thorn itself is neutral. And that's the nature of the material world. Everything here is neutral. It's how it's being utilized which makes it spiritual or material, good or bad, binding or liberating. That's the nature. I remember one time I was at the University of Florida. My legal address is Gainesville, Florida, University of Florida. 55,000 students on that campus now. We distribute 1,000 plates of Krishna food, vegetarian meals there every day that school's open. We go to the campus every day. So I used to manage it, or mismanage it, if you want to be honest. I did some things right, some things wrong, right? That's the nature of this world. And so I was out there and we were talking to one group of students, and one time one student said, "Hey, dude." Right? Student, "Hey, man, hey, dude, if you're so spiritual, why are you wearing a watch?" I thought maybe the next question would be, why are you wearing clothes? Why you have skin, you know? So I asked them, I said, okay. I said, is this watch material or spiritual? Come on, man, it's plastic and it's, it's actually all plastic. Oh, there's a little metal. Plastic and metal. He said, it's plastic and metal. It's material. I said, what constitutes something being material or spiritual? He said, what it's made out of. I said, no. I said, what it's used for. And he said, what does that mean? Then, don't ever ask a Hare Krishna what that means. We spent the whole day, right? If I used the watch to come here and give this lecture on time, which I did, I was on time. I didn't come in because it was too loud. Who's ever in charge of the PA system here, please come and see me after the class. I have some instructions for you. The decibels were over 110. That's the same as a chainsaw. That causes ear damage. One time I had a balance problem, I still do. You see I use a cane. I went to the ear doctor, and he said, oh, we get a lot of you Hare Krishnas here. You're going deaf because the speakers are too loud. Okay, I'll end that one. So now back to the watch. Okay. I had to say it was too loud. I didn't have to. I wanted to. Excuse me, I wanted to. You can't even, it has to be pleasant to walk in. It can't just be like hurting your ears. And plus, especially children, it's damaging more to children than to anybody. And we have to take care of the children. So, I use the watch to come here to give the class on time. The watch is being used spiritually. If I use the watch to, I don't know, synchronize to go rob Bank of America. Is there a Bank of America near here? Yeah. If we synchronize our watches and we go to rob the Bank of America, guess what? It's being used in the wrong way. So the watch is neutral. It's how it's being utilized which makes it material or spiritual. So each and every one of us have, they're called swadharma. Swadharma means, dharma means the constitutional position of something. Just like fire has heat and light. Water is liquid. That's the dharma of fire is heat and light. The dharma of water is liquidity. The dharma of the individual soul is service. Swadharma means our dharma is that we have to perform. You take a look around. All of us are doing service by nature. A serves B, B serves C, C serves D. The husband serves the wife serves the husband, the children serve the parents. Thank you. Right? Hopefully. We serve our country, we serve our friends, we serve our businesses, we're always serving something. If you take a look, everyone is serving something. So the nature of the soul is service. So the natural conclusion is that our natural occupational duty is to serve the Lord. Now that does not mean that one cannot do the other aspect. There's two aspects of swadharma. One is that which we are materially confined to, our nature. We're going to be an engineer, we're going to be a teacher, we're going to be a business person, we're going to be a helper, we're going to be this. That's one thing, and we must perform that duty. Sometimes it lines up with our spiritual nature, our spiritual desires, and sometimes it doesn't. But we can utilize that nature, and serve the Lord through that nature. It's not that everyone has to just become a monk and move up to the top of the Himalayas to get liberation. An engineer, a plumber, a carpenter, a bricklayer. I always bring out these because everybody else says doctors and lawyers, and I don't know how they get credit all the time, and nobody else does. So anyway, doctors, lawyers too, okay, bricklayers, teachers, everybody. They can use that nature in the service of the Lord. And at the end of the Gita, Krishna explains that people in a mode of goodness, they're like teachers. People in a mode of passion, they're like administrators. People that are mixed passion and ignorance, they're mercantile. People that are just, not capable, they just help others. And Krishna doesn't say that, okay, the teachers can make it back. He says, no, any one of these four, if they utilize their nature in my service, they can attain liberation. They can attain liberation. There's no barrier. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, male or female. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. You can be the least educated person, the most educated person. And on the spiritual sense, if you utilize whatever you have in the service of the Lord, if you don't want to be a monk, you can be a family person and engage your family in the service of the Lord. The third chapter of the Gita says, better to be an honest sweeper in the street than a charlatan meditator, living on wanton living. I learned that word, this fabulous life, this wanton living at the expense of others. While inside your heart, oh, I want the hearts down here. Inside the heart, you're harboring devious plans. Better to be an honest sweeper in the street than someone who is devious. And utilize that for the service of the Lord. And by doing that, one is able to achieve the highest level of love of God. That is our teaching. It's meant for everyone. It's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Anyone and everyone. It's just, and the opposite is true. If you take the opposite of it, it's not that the most intelligent people have the best life. I know some very intelligent people that are really, really suffering mentally. And I know some people that are very, ordinary people that just happy, right? Some people have a lot of money and they suffer or they're happy. And if some people are poor, they are happy or they suffer. That's not what makes people happy or not happy. That's not the conclusion. And those material assets don't give one access to God. There was one time when the founder of our movement was walking in Dallas, Texas. There's a place called White Rock Lake. It's only 10 or 15 minutes from our temple. I go there and take a walk almost every day when I'm in Dallas. Beautiful place. Nice place to do your morning meditation and stuff, right? There's this big house on one side of the lake and this old money family. Like some family that generations they've had money. So the devotees were walking with Prabhupada and they said, yeah, we tried to go there and preach to him, but they wouldn't let us in. And Prabhupada said, oh yeah, when Yamaraj comes knocking, will his money keep him out? Yamaraj is the Lord of Death. Yama means regulator, and Raja means king. So he's the king of regulation. This is interesting because we have this verse, Niyama. We have this verse, Tasmatun Indiyan Yarda Niyamya Bharatavshabaha. Because Arjuna asked Krishna, why does one engage in sinful activities? As if engaged by force. Artikena Puyuktoyam. Papam Karati Purushaha. Why does one engage in sinful activities? And Krishna tells him it is desire. The word is lust. I tone it down to desire. It is lust only. All-devouring sinful enemy. So how do you conquer that? Tasmat tvam indriyanyaya. You regulate the senses. Niyama. You have that yama again. So if we don't voluntarily regulate our lives, then Yamaraj will do it for us. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you. With the agent of death, that grim reaper with that black hoodie, with the sickle, our your version of the, what do they call it, the grim reaper? Yeah, the grim reaper guy. Halloween guy. Yeah. Our version of the grim reaper is Yamaraj, right? Yamaraj, he's the controller of regulation. So if you want to eat indiscriminately, he'll give you a body of an animal that indiscriminately eats. If you want to sleep unnecessarily, take birth as a bear. They sleep all winter. When I was a new devotee, they used to, the brahmachari leader, and brahmachari means celibate student, practicing celibate student, used to kick me every morning. Hey, Ritavaja, you want to be a bear in your next life? Get out of bed. Okay? He used to kick me in the sleeping bag. Right? Welcome to the brahmachari ashram. No wonder everybody got married, right? So if you want to sleep like a bear, just take birth. If Yamaraj will put you in the bear body, you can sleep all winter. Imagine waking up, how hungry you'd be, man, after 6 months. So there's so many other species of life that have facility for sense gratification like that, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. For animalistic propensity, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. What's the Nandana introduced me? He said that my first experience was coming in contact. The devotees asked me for, I somehow or another, I was an alternative conscious person. I planted flowers all over my yard. And so they asked me for the flowers, and I said, yeah, take whatever you want, and went back to sleep and woke up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they were all gone. There wasn't one flower left in my room. Anyway, that's why. I think I've told that story 1,000,000 times, right? Anyway, later on, I walked into a house, and there was a picture of Krishna on the wall. And I said, what's that? And he said, that's Krishna. That's the Supreme Lord. I said, okay, I can believe that. He looks cool. He had long hair, so did I, right? Since then, it's kind of shortened up. And they gave me a book. His brother, who happened to graduate from high school with me, I kind of knew a little bit. He was actually a book distributor in this temple, and he recently passed away about a year or two ago. His name is Manasutta. I don't know if there's any old souls here from Chicago. He used to distribute hundreds of books a week, hundreds and hundreds of books a week. And he sent the books to his brother, and I opened up the book, and it said, animals run around on 4 legs, and they eat, they sleep, they mate, and they defend. And human beings go around on 4 wheels, and they eat, they sleep, they mate, and they defend. What is the difference? I was a college student. I thought I knew it all. I was in a really popular rock and roll band in my area, and I really thought I knew it all, right? And I thought, whoa, I got to read that again. Animals run around on 4 legs. They eat, they sleep, they mate, and defend. And humans go on 4 tires. They eat, they sleep, they mate, and defend. What's the difference? I thought, holy. I don't say those words in mixed company. Holy cow, right? Right? I said, what is the difference? And then I read the next line. There is no difference. One is polished and one is unpolished. We're not meant just to be polished animals. We're meant to utilize this human form of life for God realization. And I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And it was a few months later, I was living in the Winnipeg temple, in the attic. Addict? How do you say the top? Attic. Attic, not addict. I'm not an addict. I actually am an addict. Sorry to tell you. And now we have AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, right? 12-step program. NA, Narcotics Anonymous. Here in the Hare Krishna temple, we have SGA, Sense Gratifiers Anonymous. We have a 16-step program where you take out beads and you chant the holy names of God 16 times around your beads. It's a rosary. It's like a rosary. We chant the holy names of God. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom comes. His will be done through the holy name. It's in every scripture. It's not just Hare Krishna. It's in the Judeo-Christian tradition. That the Father who's in the spiritual world, which Christians call heaven, descends in the holy name. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom of God will come and his will be done. That which he desires us as souls will be done if we surrender to him through the holy name. We say the same thing. Golokera premadan harinam sankirtan. That prema, that pure love of God, that pure love that we have for the Supreme Lord that exists in Goloka, Goloka means the planet where Krishna lives, descends into the material world in the form of the Harinam Sankirtan, the glorification of the holy name of the Lord. It's a universal principle. It's a universal principle that anyone and everyone can use. And believe it or not, they can't even tax it. You can chant as much as you want. If you earn $1 million, they'll tax you for $1 million. You chant $1 million around, what are they going to do? Take your beads away? Okay, chant in your fingers. They take your fingers away. I've been to jail for selling books. There's many ways you can chant the holy names, let me tell you. You can do it secretly, you can do it openly. There's no rules. Nanama kari bahujanija sarvashati tatarpitani amita shmarane nakalaha. There are hundreds and thousands of names of God, and each and every one of those names, Sarvashakti, has all the potency of God is contained within the name. Because the name of God is non-different than God. And then all the rules, there are no hard and fast rules. There are no hard and fast rules. You can chant anywhere. You can glorify God anywhere. You can pray to God anywhere, anytime, any place, on any circumstance. All we have to do is make the endeavor. There's a nice story. I don't know if I have time. 6th chapter, 24th verse, the sparrow lost the eggs in the ocean. The sparrow asked, please give my eggs back. Ocean didn't even acknowledge the sparrow. Word spread. Garuda, the bird carrier of Vishnu, the form of Krishna, heard about it, said, let me go check out that little sparrow. Sounds pretty far out, right? Goes down. This sparrow's really got determination. So the bird carrier of Krishna, of the Lord, says, ocean, give back the eggs or I'm going to dry you. And then the ocean said, okay, here's the eggs. Because he knew that Garuda could do it. And then Prabhupada said that God helps those that help themselves. Huh? Just, you know, if we put out the effort, that little sparrow put out the effort, the energy, and the Garuda reciprocated. In the same way, we put out the effort, we put out the energy, and Krishna will reciprocate. Yayatamam papajante tam sataiva bhajamyam. As we surrender, Krishna rewards. Simple message. Simple, practical, day to day. It's not hard. And it's a sukham kartamaviyam. It's joyfully performed. It's because the nature of the soul is joyous. And once we uncover the soul, we find ourselves in a sense of, no matter what externally is happening, we have a safe place in the heart. A place to go where nobody can enter, no matter what circumstance we're in. And that's the joy of spiritual life. That's the glory of spiritual life. My watch says 6:30. Is there a temple clock? Huh? 6 what? 31. Off by a minute. Okay. Any questions? Huh? You keep it fast. Most people want to get it to slow down. When you get my age, you want it to go slow. When you're young, you want it to go fast. I remember being 14. North Dakota, you can drive at 15. I remember being 14. Man, I wish I was 15. I'm not wishing I'm 67 yet. I'm not looking forward to 70 either. Anyway, it's very nice to be with you all again. Do you have a question? Please? Oh, it's against my rules.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, wonderful, inspiring presentation lecture today. You gave this example of the thorn. You gave the example of the thorn being neutral. The thorn.
Thorn, yeah.
Yes.
Anything in the material world is neutral.
Yes. So what confuses me a little bit is when you apply this verse, Prakriti Kriyamanani. So Prabhupada translates the word Kriyamanani as the doer. So material nature is the doer, but this foolish person is thinking that he is the doer.
Yes.
So how do you explain that if material nature is neutral? Well, in this verse, it says that the material nature is the doer.
Yeah, okay. Because you haven't got to the 13th chapter yet. Okay. So Prakriti Kriyamanini Gunakanani Sarvasaha. The bewildered, ill-living entity thinks himself the doer of activities which are being carried out by material energy. But what we haven't remembered is that we choose that material energy. We choose, in other words, by our actions, we're choosing our next life. There's free will. Without free will, there's no meaning to relationship. So just like, for example, if I choose to break the law, then the reaction is I go to jail, right? It's the law. It's me. It's not the law putting me in jail. It's me breaking the law. So material energy is not the doer. Material energy is the facilitator for my actions, and I am actually the doer. And when we get into 18th chapter, you cannot neglect the super soul. I mean, it's a really, really broad spectrum here that would take like 15, 20, 30 minutes to do. But Prakriti is neutral in that, but when we choose a particular thing, we have to accept the responsibility. I don't know if they have billboards like this in Illinois, but in Florida, do the crime, do the time. Huh? If you commit the crime, you got to do the time. So in the same way, if we, by our actions, perform certain activities and we get a reaction, the reaction is we are born under our particular type of prakriti, particular type of mode of nature. And that mode of nature will force us to do certain activities, right? We can't avoid that. So there's a certain amount of restriction that is given, But each and every living entity has a certain amount of independence. Just like I can choose, like I came to Chicago from Dallas. I took American Airlines. It was a cheap ticket, right? Okay, I chose it. Once I got on that plane, it was my free will. Now, according to the destiny of that plane, what route it took and whatever turbulence was there, that was my destiny. My choice, my destiny. Without free will, there's no meaning to love. I got a gun in my hand. You love me, right? I'm the coolest Swami you ever met in your life, right? Nobody's ever done anything like this before, right? As long as I got the gun on you, you're going to say anything I want. As soon as I take it away and give you free will, you can choose me or not. And therefore, forced love is not love. God has the power to do that, but what kind of mentality would it be to force somebody into a situation that you don't want to be in? That's not a loving God. That's a crazy person. So God gives us the ability to choose, all right? He gives us. But when we choose, He puts us in a particular department. Now this word, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dharantiya. The material energy is divine because it's coming from God. But it's Dharantiya, it's a prison cell. It's a confinement. We're confined within this body. We're restricted by this body. We're restricted by the reactions that this body has. We're given a certain amount of wealth, a certain amount of health, a certain amount of intelligence, a certain amount of education, a certain amount of facility on so many different levels because we act in a certain way. Even the Judeo-Christian Bible or Torah, or the scriptures say, as you sow, so shall you reap. So I'm reaping a particular result right here. I just told you I was born in North Dakota, right? Kind of close to here. I told Krishna, whatever I did to take birth in North Dakota, please, I promise, I won't do it again. It's just too cold. It's just too cold there. I mean, one time, it was, wind chill factor was negative 98 below zero. Yeah, yeah. I ain't going there again. Krishna, whatever I did, I promise, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm really, really sorry. Don't make me go back there again. I mean, the battery in my car froze. Yeah, brand new car. Didn't even have 1,000 miles on it and it froze. See, the thing is that if we say Prakriti is the doer, then we're not responsible for our actions. If we say that something else... I remember when I was a kid, I don't know if anybody here is old, there was a TV show, Rowan and Martin's Laughing. You old enough to remember that? It was like a bunch of skits, like 10 different skits. And one of the skits was this one guy used to walk across the stage. The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. It's not his fault. May I use you as an example? What's your name, please? Shiva. Shiva. Shiva opens up Shiva's jewels and gold shop. Right? I've used this analogy here before in case you were here. I'm sorry. Okay. Shiva opens up Shiva's jewelry and gold shop. By nature, I'm a thief, right? I see him open up a new shop. I think, okay, there's my next job, right? But Shiva's not I can tell he's a pretty smart guy. Look at him. He looks pretty smart. Shiva installs cameras. He installs, what do you call that thing where you can announce to the police, Yeah, you push the button and the police know. So I walk in, I'm robbing the guy. He's got me on camera. He pushed the button with his foot. I'm walking out the door, and there they are, the guys in blue. Right? Hey, is this the guy? Yep. They open my bag. All the gold and jewels are in my bag. They take me into jail. I go to jail. I go in front of the judge, and the judge said, "How do you plead, Swami?" I said, "Innocent, Your Honor." And he said, "Really, Maharaj?" He said, "Have you seen the video of you putting the jewels in the bag?" "Yes, Your Honor." You're not supposed to laugh at your own jokes, right? Anyway. And the policemen are in there. Officers, is this the person you caught at the door with the jewels? Yes, Your Honor. Maharaj, how do you plead? Your Honor, I'm 100% innocent. I took a little drink for the power of the pause, right? Your Honor, I'm innocent. Maharaj, what are you talking about? How are you innocent? Your Honor, I can prove it. Okay, Maharaj, give it to me. Let me have it. Your Honor, if Shiva hadn't opened his jewelry store, I would have never robbed him. It's Shiva's fault. Actually, I was supposed to speak on Shiva tonight, but it didn't get there. And so in the same way, if God gives us free will and we misuse it and blame it on the energy that he's created to put us in case we misuse it, then we can't blame material energy in as much as I can't blame him for opening his jewelry store for me robbing it. Take a look at the logic, right? What judge would say, you're right, Shiva, you go to jail? You are wrong. You tempted that guy. You tempted him to rob your jewelry store. You put those cameras in there. You put that switch in there. Yeah, it's your fault Mars is in jail, right? That's the logic behind material energy, is making us do it. We choose it. We make our bed. What do we got to do? We got to lay in it. Huh? We do the crime. Be prepared to do the time. At least be honest. In Kali Yuga, we were talking about where was I at? Well, we had a quiz today. Four pillars of spiritual life. Truthfulness, kindness, austerity, and mercy. The last one left is truthfulness. There's a little tiny truthfulness left. At least be honest in the heart. Krishna, I'm an addict. I'm addicted to sense gratification. I'm addicted to my senses. I'm a slave to my senses. I'm forced by my senses to act in ways I don't want to act, and I need help. How do I do it? Just regulate them. Just do those same things in the not that you robbed Shiva's jewelry store, but you do of your occupational activities in relationship to the Lord. And then you're free. And then we're free. We're no longer bound. Freedom is a wonderful thing. And freedom is earned. It's not given, it's earned. God helps those who help themselves. We have to make the effort. Yashoda, 2 fingers too short. You know the story, huh? Krishna was bound by a rope, and his mother was trying to bind, and the rope was short by 2 fingers. Mercy and endeavor. If we don't do the endeavor, we can't get the mercy. It's our responsibility, and we have to take responsibility for our situation. And as much as we take responsibility for our situation, then we're okay. Yadananda, he's looking at the clock 15 times in the last 15 minutes. Sorry. I'll stop now. Thank you all. I really appreciate your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Next time we'll take the batteries out of the clock, so time will stop. But thank you so much for that beautiful class. No, but for anyone who is here for the very first time, we have a small gift for you at the guest services table in the lobby. Okay, so it looks like a few of us are eligible for that. Also, if you're not familiar with the dinner portion of our Sunday Feast program, it's through these double doors at the top of the staircase. There's a feast waiting for you there. I encourage you to come back as quickly as possible. The musical meditation or kirtan will continue until 8 o'clock.
Krishna prasthaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Pasyatyane Chatarine Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, here, I'm going to play them Madonna instead. Thank you.
Okay. Are you the last?
No, one after me. One after me, I think.
You're gonna play Madonna?
Yeah. Actually, could you?
Hey, I can play it if you want me.
Yeah.
Okay.
There, I'll get card calls.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Sorpe Manande, Hari Haribo.
You can take one.
Do the see the chakra running.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
To make an announcement in the middle of your
announcement for whoever's car is parked in the back. If you don't have a permit for parking in the back, your car is going to be towed. Just repeating, if you don't have a permit to park in the back lot, your car is going to be towed. So please move your cars. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ow, ow, ow.